So the Cowboys were able to squeeze out a victory, 30-7. I know a lot of people will look at this thing and say, well, Law, they didn't need this win. It would help out better if we were to lose, especially as it relates to draft picks and these sorts of things. I get where you guys are coming from. I get where the people are thinking that if you lose out, it's better for the team to have better draft picks and things like that. But I'm all about culture building. I'm all about, hey, how can we stack these things together? Try to finish out strong. Try to finish out the best way possible. Never look at this thing and say, well, Law, if we can lose, we can get this better draft pick. It does not work that way. It does not work that way. And on top of that, Cowboy Nation, just be happy for the fact that we got to win. The morale, the confidence of players goes a long way. It do. And shout out to Alden Smith for scoring on defense, of course. Now, the butt fumble 2.0 did not occur or happen because of the Cowboys. But we will take all what we can, right? We would look at this situation and say, yeah, that's a great opportunity. That's a great movement. That's a great sense of urgency as it relates to getting into the end zone. And then on top of that, they score what 3 points off of the other fumble. So that goes a long way. And I know it's against the Cincinnati Bengals. It's against them. So, yes, we shouldn't be looking at this thing saying, oh, can we get a cookie because of the win? No, we should be looking at this thing. Okay, I saw 32 flash. 32, Savion Smith. Now, although he got burnt on a touchdown, I know a lot of people are going to look at that. And one thing that I can take from all of this is number 20, Tony Pollard. The guy was amazing. Special teams, you know, in the first part of the year, he kind of was like pressing a little too much, but I'm thinking that he found his groove and he found his angle. And regardless of which team you play against, you're going to have to be mindful of number 20 now, coming out of that end zone, able to flip the field. And he didn't do it just one time. He did it twice in this game. So, and then he did it multiple times this year. So Tony Pollard coming along the way. And on top of that, he scored a touchdown. I know it was late in the game or what have you. But think about Tony Pollard, how he can just go home and say, okay, yeah, I belongs in the NFL. I belongs on the Dallas Cowboys. Give me the chance, give me the opportunity. And some of the runs that he ran with authority. Shout out to Ezekiel Elliott too. Now, I do know that we can look at this situation and say, man, Law is still against the Cincinnati Bengals. You can live that miserable life. But I'm looking at it like, man, you got to look at some of the positive out of this situation. Culture is more so important than tanking. You try to develop that mentality of winning. You try to figure out ways that you can get something positive that you can mark on the board and say, okay, if only we did this a little bit better, maybe the season would be a little bit better. Let's implement this. Because a pair of rookies next year, they can help you, but they will not save you. You still have to have that mindset to say, okay, I recall looking back at this, I recall looking back at that. And everybody's developing rapport, everybody's developing chemistry. And that is what you should be fighting for. That is what you should be looking for. And that is what you should be seeking out there on the field. Who is not afraid? Who's going to fold up like a wallet or a lawn chair when the triple pressures of the time of reality settles in? That's all I'm saying, Cowboy Nation. I know a lot of people will look at this situation and say, Law, come on, man. It's the Dallas Cowboys versus the Cincinnati Bengals. The craziest thing of it all, if it was reversed, how many people would be saying, oh man, great, we tanked, huh? And I know that a lot of people thinking that Sewell or bust. It's not like that. It's truly not. And when you look at it, all of these draft picks with the compensatory picks, if you really want to get you a top 100 guys, you're going to have to wheel and deal some of those compensatory picks. And I believe in the hearts of hearts with the Joneses, they should go with BPA. BPA, best player available. Don't get too cute. Don't try to get too fancy with it. You know that these guys are going to play on that. And they're going to just try to use and abuse those Joneses, playing down to their egos. You get the best player available. You figure things out. You can look at it into the second and third round. Maybe you dip back into the third. Maybe you dip back into the second. But outside of that, fifth and sixth round picks, stay focused. Quality over quantity. And think about this, Cowboy Nation. When that free agency period come around, it's one thing to have good draft picks, but to make those things work together, complementary situations, you got to wheel and deal and finagle some of those good free agent picks or free agent guys that's out there. Don't play around with this thing and only look at the aspect of, oh, we gonna go out there and just draft this thing and bring in a bunch of rookies. Gotta have complementary pieces. You do. You got to have complementary pieces. Let me say it one more time. You got to have complementary pieces. You do. Because you can't be looking at this thing and saying, oh, Lord, what we gonna do is, with this situation, is that we cool with what we got. We gonna be straight. No. There's this thing, a wonderful thing, a beautiful thing, by the way, called growing pains. And it will slap you right in your face. You got to figure out how you can complement the guys that you're going to draft. Think about this. If you look up Dallas Cowboys YouTube or Dallas Cowboys social media on any platform, you will hear tons or see tons of Bradley Anae's tape, Reggie Robinson, and those boys don't have a ton of tape to even look at for this year. But the draft will sell you the optimism that these guys were going to do something. So pump the brakes. Pump it. Sit back. Relax. Know that even this right here, Diggs, he balled out for us this year. Although, he got set back with the injury or what have you. He was in the second round. Oh, CD Lamb, he balled out for us. And he was with the 17th pick. So let's not paint ourselves in a corner. Let's not look at this situation and scenario and say, well, we can't get a top tier guy. It depends on what system they go to and how they perform when the calling card is there. Think about this. Was Aaron Donald picked with the top 5 pick? I'll wait. Was J.J. Watt, all of the good stuff that he's been doing on the defensive side of the ball, picked in the top 5 pick? I will wait. Was T.J. Watt one of those guys that was picked in the high picks? No. Just because you picked in the first round or the second or third pick or what have you in the first round doesn't mean that it's going to showcase a level of talent that everybody's going to say, okay, this guy and that guy's doing this. No, don't paint yourself into the corner. The Chiefs didn't have to tank for their guy, you know, the quarterback there. So let's not look at it like, okay, Pat Mahomes was a guy that everybody wanted in the draft. No. It depends on which system you are in, and it depends on where you're going to go with this angle as it relates to drafting situation. And the Cowboys, and I'm talking to the fans, don't be thinking that, hey, you got to tank for a certain player. Oh, did the Seattle Seahawks had to tank for Russell Wilson? The answer is no. Do your evaluation. You draft well, take your time. Go through your evaluations, figure things out. We got good pieces around us. We just have to establish a system, and we have to establish, of course, the right players to fit said systems. But do not fall into the mindset and say, well, if we tank this year and we tank next year and we tank next year, you see where I'm going with this? That's all the time that I have for this moment. Cowboys come out victorious. Let's see if they can finish strong. Shout out to everybody that's subscribed to this channel. My name is Law Nation, LAW Nation. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go.